Hello, how are you? Today I am going to talk to you about the main mistakes people make when drinking water daily. Many people don't know they are making these mistakes, which are very common, and some of these mistakes can even put their health at risk. Stay until the end because I will explain everything to you now. If you love tips on nutrition, health, and fitness, you will love the channel. So take advantage, subscribe, and remember to activate the bell to receive notifications. I have new videos every day. You will love them. The first big mistake in this matter of drinking water is that some people decide they need to consume 2 liters of water a day, but they don't have much time, spend a lot of time out, are afraid of forgetting. So they decide to drink 1.5 liters all at once and drink the rest gradually throughout the day. This is a very common mistake that many people make, but it can even cause serious health problems. This is because this excessive water consumption can distend the stomach, as it is a very large amount, can overload the kidneys, and can cause you to have hyponatremia, which is when you have a lower proportion of sodium in your body due to a large intake of water without electrolytes. So as we consume water throughout the day, we ingest it with a bit of food, we keep consuming it throughout the day, also with electrolytes, with other ingredients, whether they are liquids as well or other solid foods. So this ends up balancing the issue of electrolytes throughout the day. And if you drink a large amount of water all at once, it can indeed cause harm to your body. And in the same way, people who have very long gaps between drinking water, sometimes a person drinks a little water here and then goes 4 or 5 hours before drinking a bit more, and they won't reach the minimum necessary for the day. These are very large intervals. Always remember that you shouldn't feel thirsty. That sensation of thirst is one of the last signals your body sends for you to get water. So ideally, you should notice if you're producing saliva well, if your eyes are tearing up properly, and ensure that you hydrate regularly throughout the day without overdoing it by concentrating water intake at one time, and also without the mistake of forgetting about it and going hours and hours without consuming water. Another mistake many people make is drinking water that is poorly stored. That is, many people use a bottle to consume water daily, which is great, super healthy for the planet, very sustainable, instead of using several disposable cups, which is terrible. So there are people who buy nice bottles, leave them on their office desk, and fill the entire bottle with water. Then by lunchtime, the person has already been drinking. Then they have a snack, eat a fruit, have lunch, return, drink more water, go to refill, and there were already 2 fingers of water left. The person goes and fills that bottle again. You know that you've already put your mouth on it. There are bacteria you can't see. Sometimes there are food residues you can't see, and that has been proliferating bacteria, fungi, and microorganisms for hours and hours. And sometimes the person leaves that bottle there, goes to the office bathroom, or even at home, just turns the bottle, pours some water in it, turns it upside down in the sink, closes it again, and puts it back on the table. Sometimes it stays there the whole week until they take it home on Friday to wash it. So obviously, the ideal is that you sanitize your water bottle every day with water and soap, wash it well using a bottle brush if necessary, and always wait for the water to finish before refilling it. And if you see that there are food particles or something like that, it seems kind of obvious, but throw it out, rinse it with water, and try to sanitize it as much as possible if you're out on the street. But always remember that stagnant water over days and days will proliferate harmful bacteria, fungi, and things you don't want for your health. Another tip is for people who consume flavored water and think that flavored water lasts forever. Someone makes a delicious and refreshing water, for example, with fresh lemon, parsley, mint, and adds some cool slices of cucumber, puts it there, and then leaves it. They make the water at 9 in the morning, leave it at room temperature, drink it throughout the day, and by the next day, there's still water left and the person keeps drinking it. Or they drink this water very quickly, take those vegetables and use them to make another batch of flavored water. First, the beneficial compounds from the ingredients that were present have already been transferred to the first batch of water. And second, because the ingredients are at room temperature, they end up potentially rotting, becoming more oxidized, developing a slightly different taste, and there could be bacterial growth. So the ideal way to handle flavored water is to make it, store it in the refrigerator whenever possible, and consume it within the same day. And if there's any left for the next day, you'll have to throw it away. First, because the properties may be lost and there could also be the growth of microorganisms, bacteria, which is not desirable for you. Another very common mistake is the temperature of the water. Of course, in the summer, many people feel like drinking cold water or a chilled beverage to cool down. Personally, I don't drink anything cold because I don't like it, but I know there are many people who buy those filters with cold water and put water in the fridge, add ice cubes to the water. And you have to be careful with that because the body maintains a temperature of around 36 degrees Celsius. If you drink very cold water, it can cause a problem for your body, potentially causing an involuntary contraction in the esophagus or stress on your stomach. For ultra-sensitive people, it can lower their blood pressure and they might feel dizzy. So of course, you don't need to drink hot water like tea because no one can handle that either. But water in its liquid state at room temperature is the most interesting in many ways. If you live in a very hot place during the summer, it might be interesting to do a half and half, put in very cold water and fill the rest with another water, a more tempered one. But avoid giving your body a thermal shock with very cold water because that can also harm you. Be careful with the time you choose to consume your water. This is because we know that from late afternoon until dinner time and after dinner, excessive water consumption can impact people's sleep. Some people will keep waking up in the middle of the night to pee and then they drink more water and then they pee more and drink more water. So the person is swapping day for night when it comes to hydration, and this will harm sleep, which affects the weight loss process, the immune system, memory, brain rest. So it's important that you try to focus more on your water intake until the late afternoon around 6 or 7 p.m. And after that, you can wet your mouth, drink a little liquid, but not in considerable amounts that could disrupt your sleep. And even less at night, some people get up to do something and drink a glass of water. Know that this will soon make you get up to pee again. So drinking water in the middle of the night should be avoided as much as possible. If you are one of those people who say you can't help it, that you need to wake up in the middle of the night to drink water because you feel very thirsty at night, how is your water intake during the day? Have you been paying attention to how that's going in your daily routine? Because this can be a reflection, and it usually is, of low water intake during the day, and your body ends up asking for water at night. So try to drink more water during this time until 6 p.m. and then let me know if this nighttime thirst has improved or not. Also, be careful with the hygiene of the water you drink because we know that despite the existence of water treatment centers, the ideal is that the water in your home is filtered or boiled because the water might have been clean at the treatment center, but it traveled through pipes and tubes to reach your home. So the ideal is that you always boil or filter your water, which is the most traditional method. And you should avoid drinking water from places you don't know whether the water is potable or not, and without it being filtered or boiled. So for example, sometimes a person is hiking, there's a beautiful waterfall, wonderful nature, and they drink water there, which is coming from nature. But we don't know if there's a dead animal upstream, if an animal urinated upstream, or if there's something else contaminating the water you're drinking down here. So this issue with water is very complicated if you are hiking or walking in nature because the water visually is clean, but it can have worms, it can contain bacteria, viruses, it can cause hepatitis, typhoid fever, a big problem. So avoid consuming it. It seems like something everyone already knows, but it's always good to reinforce that just because the water looks clean, it doesn't necessarily mean it is clean. And also be careful with the situation of being at a friend's house and he says that the tap water is super clean, letting the children who are playing drink from the hose and says there's no problem. In the past, it was very common, but we already know that nowadays the ideal is for the water to always be filtered or boiled, so it doesn't hurt to remind you that this is the healthiest option for you. Tell me down here how your water intake is throughout the day, if you usually hydrate throughout the day, if you pay attention to this, to staying hydrated. I hope so. But are you attentive to this throughout the day? Did you make any of these mistakes? Will you start being more careful with other issues? Tell me down here in the comments. I would love to see your comment. Like the video as it helps me, and share it with those who will enjoy it and who need it. Let's together expand this chain of good, which is what I want here. See you next time. Bye.